What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Scout and Combine here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm joined by my co-host, Eric Smith, who just came back from coaching his football game. Eric, how'd you guys do today?
Not a great game for us today. We played one of the best teams in the state, and it didn't come out in our favor. That is what it is. You know, playing on Saturday for high school football is kind of weird, kind of like the Dolphins' schedule's been recently. Not playing on normal Sundays, which we have again this week.
Of course. And we did get news a little bit earlier today based on Mike McDaniel's press conference that the starting quarterback for the Dolphins on Monday Night Football against the Tennessee Titans will be Tyler Snoop Huntley, who was claimed off the Baltimore Ravens practice squad earlier last week as well. Eric, what are your thoughts on Tyler Huntley?
So I like what he is as a backup quarterback. I like the potential that he can bring as somebody that has that athletic ability that can make things happen. The bigger thing for me was that I kind of feared that Mike McDaniel was going to try to put Tim Boyle into the Tua offense, kind of like we had last week with Skylar Thompson playing in what was really an offense that was more geared toward Tua. And I wasn't sure that McDaniel, could come to terms with putting even a newer quarterback in the system in there. So just the fact that they're willing to go to Snoop Huntley is an encouraging thing for me, that hopefully McDaniel's game plan this week is going to be geared towards those things that Huntley does well, unlike what we had last week.
Of course, we're going to take a look at some Skylar Thompson third down snaps. We're going to take a look at some Tyler Huntley third down snaps back when he played, a good chunk of games in 2022. And then we're going to review the Green Bay Packers and Tennessee game, primarily those third downs, third and short, to get an idea of what the game plan might look like up against the Tennessee Titans. The Green Bay offense and the Dolphins offense, same schematics, similar type of offense, but different type of players. However, you do have Tyler Huntley and Malik Willis with almost a similar type of skill set. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Dolphins do it and how the Titans defend it as well. So we'll go ahead, get into some Skylar Thompson film first and foremost, specifically on third downs. All right. Was not necessarily the cleanest game for Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins. And Skylar Thompson, is ranked the 32nd quarterback in the NFL right now in terms of EPA per play, QBR, and in any single season game this season. It was just an awful game from Skylar Thompson. And, reviewing the film, we thought it was just Mike McDaniel abandoning the run. No, the wide receivers and tight ends were actually open. We'll go ahead and run this very first play on third down. I believe this is a 3rd and 6. You are in what looks to be 21 personnel with 2 tight ends, 1 running back, and 2 wide receivers. You actually have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the field together in a stack formation. All right, you have the screen pass available right here for Jalen Waddle, but it's covered up. You got space right here to throw the ball to Tyreek Hill. What does Skylar do? Doesn't throw the ball to Tyreek Hill. What does he do instead, Eric?
Looks like he's going to dump this off, but yeah, I mean, this is what separates Tua is the ability to see those windows and to be able to hit. That's an easy first down if Tua is still the quarterback here. Would have liked to see some stuff that was more geared towards what Skylar does well. Although third year in the system, he's looking at Tyreek here. Like I don't understand why he didn't just let this rip. So yeah, the plays were certainly there, and he just passed up what should have been easy pitch and catch opportunities.
All right, the next one is a 3rd and 2 in the third quarter where the Dolphins are trailing by 14 points right here. All right, looks like they are in 22 personnel right here with 1 wide receiver. And you have 2 halfbacks. You have 2 tight ends as well. Running cross on the motion man, you have Tanner Connor. looks like it could be a crack toss play right here. You have the linebacker and defensive back trying to crash down on the angle. It's a fake. Linebacker's coming straight through, and Skylar just catches a big body right there. We'll go ahead and run the play one more time. Let's take a look at the end zone angle right here. All right, Eric, pre-snap, what are you looking on the offensive and defensive line?
So, I mean, same. Obviously, the defense is packed in here, so they were going with play action, looking to show that outside zone type play. And again, this is something that if this is Tua in the offense, Tua understands what's happening as he's turning his back here, understands how that play action is manipulating that defense. And as soon as he turns around, like he really doesn't even have to see the tight end before he's just ripping this throw, or not the tight end, right? Or yeah, it was tight, Julian Hill. Like as soon as his eyes are coming around, Tua is ripping this ball right now. That corner, that number 20, he's stepping to the outside. Like
he can give it right here.
Right. The ball is out right now, and this is another first down right there. Like that ball probably should have been out before Hill ever looked, like right here. So that as he's turning, that ball is on him, and the defender doesn't even have an opportunity to make the play.
Right. And the Seattle Seahawks are actually +1 here in trying to get a defensive lineman into the backfield. Right here, Austin Jackson basically almost gets put on the ground, but he didn't. But there's a huge gap, huge hole right here for the linebacker to come through and just absolutely destroy Skylar Thompson on this play. We'll go ahead, take a look at the sideline angle once again based on what you were saying, Eric. Here's the end zone angle. Nope, sideline angle. Here we go, right here on the motion. Play action fake. Julian Love is biting down right here. Could throw it easy dart right here.
Or Waddle on the backside there. Either way would have been great options. Could have just put it out there in space to Waddle and let him run to it.
Yep. All right. This is a 1st and 10 in the third quarter where the Dolphins again are trailing. We'll go ahead and take a look at who is on the field. You have Jalen Wright, Durham Smythe, Tyreek Hill. I believe that may be Eric Ezukanma and Jalen Waddle. It's a 1st and 10 right here. So we'll take a look at this 1st and 10 play call. I believe it's their Dolphins are starting on the 22, 23-yard line right here. A little bit of a motion right here that Tyreek Hill does to gain some leverage on this defensive back to open up his hips, and we'll stop right there. You have a built-in screen right here for Devon Achane.
Yep.
You have Smythe covered up. You have Jalen Waddle battling as he's being released outside the line of scrimmage. And let's take a look at Tyreek Hill, what he's running. He's going to be running post, again, middle. Good read by Skylar right there. That was one of the positive plays from Skylar Thompson in this Seahawks game. Thoughts, Eric?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like there might have been an easier opportunity there to hit Achane. You had him in space there in the flat, one-on-one with the defender. But when you talk about what was probably the first read here, it probably was Tyreek Hill, and this was a good job, right there of seeing that window opening up and letting it rip and it hitting that play as it's designed.
All right, let's take a look at a 3rd and 5 in the first quarter. Skylar Thompson actually takes a sack right here in the middle of the field. We have Braxton Berrios. I believe that's Tanner Connor, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Wright. You have Jalen Wright in the backfield. That actually looks like Jonnu Smith in the slot. All right, 3 wide receivers, bunches formation. Skylar kind of bobbles the ball right there. All right. 2 seconds from the snap, you could have Jonnu right here streaking down the sideline, and you have Berrios coming across the face of the linebackers. Austin Jackson right there, one-on-one. And Skylar Thompson is under pressure from Boye Mafe. And he loses the ball. Was there anything actually readily available for Skylar to throw? Admittedly, you could say the crossing route from Braxton Berrios right there, or even the out route, but Skylar's facing that pressure right there.
Yeah, I mean, part of that was brought on by himself. Also, I mean, when you fumble the snap, I mean, that snap was not on Brewer. That was Thompson dropping that snap, and then even the second fumble was not caused by a defender, which obviously throws off the timing there. But if he picks this up cleanly, as Berrios is clearing there, can get a completion there, or I forget who was running the corner route on that as well. Mm-hmm. Had everything been clean, might have had an opportunity to put it out there in space. But when you are having trouble even handling a snap, then of course that's going to throw off the timing and the reads of the offense.
All right, 3rd and 11 in the second quarter. Incomplete short right here. Go ahead. They are back in 11 personnel with 3 wide receivers. Tyreek Hill up at the top, Jalen Waddle at the bottom, Braxton Berrios and Jonnu Smith with Jalen Wright once again at running back. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 stand-up defenders on the defensive line right there. 3rd and 11, you think they're going to be bringing the house right here. And let's see what Skylar Thompson does. We'll pause right there. Good protection, good enough protection right there. Looks like they're all running verts right here. They're all covering up a quarter each of the field. And you have the safety way out here, about 30 yards from the line of scrimmage. And what's being ran? Verts, verts, verts. And Tyreek Hill was stopped right here. Incomplete pass. I just don't think Skylar Thompson had enough push on that ball.
Yeah, I felt like on that one, like his clock was just accelerated too much. If you watch the defensive blitz there, they drop a guy to the top of the screen and they bring that corner from the bottom of the screen, that slot corner. And Skylar does a really good job of recognizing that and stepping away from the pressure. But there was more time that he had as he's moving to the left there to not have to force that off of a bad platform to Tyreek Hill.
You could have hit Jonnu as well. If he waited, he could have hit Jonnu.
Right. Everything there is clean for him to continue and to be able to find a more open receiver in that situation. And Jonnu, as he's moving over there and that defense is moving towards Tyreek Hill, should have opened up, easily to be a much more simple completion than what he was trying to get with Tyreek.
All right. Here we go on the sack, second quarter, 3rd and long. Once again, you have Jonnu Smith, Devon Achane, Braxton Berrios, Jalen Waddle. And I think that's Tyreek Hill or Jeff Wilson. I can't really tell right now. No, that's Jeff Wilson, and this is Tyreek Hill. Empty formation right here. Once again, it looks like the defensive back was going to blitz right here, but as he sees the snap count coming from Skylar, he backs off into coverage. Only 4 rushers. Clean pocket. Flag is thrown. And Skylar, what are you doing at this point, man? Flag is thrown. It's a free play. Let's go ahead, try to throw it up on the top. And what does he do? He gets sacked. I mean, you had how many guys open right there? 1. I mean, the play is still going on, and all the Dolphins give up except for Tyreek Hill. This is just a failure on everyone on the offenses, especially from the playmakers. The line is still blocking, and they just can't get it done.
Yeah, I don't understand how more teams don't take advantage of that. You see, Aaron Rodgers is brilliant with that when a flag is thrown, that the receivers in his offenses know just to run deep, and he's going to throw it up, and either they're going to make a play or hopefully get a better penalty. But there are certain quarterbacks who seem to be able to take advantage of that a lot more than others, and we typically don't have that in Miami.
All right, 3rd and 2, I formation. You may think they may try to run this up the gut with Devon Achane. Devon Achane has converted on 3rd and shorts up the gut and even on the outside as well. But this was a pass play right here, and it led to a sack. All right. Looks like another defender is coming crashing down as well. And I got to admit, is this on the blocking itself?
No, I mean, if you look,
Oh, this was the same play we saw already. Yeah, this was the same play we saw already from where Julian Hill was basically on the corner, and Tua would have threw that ball right there.
yep, and that was a good job by the defense of bringing that extra defender. And one of those that Skylar has to understand where the unblocked guy is coming from and get the ball out, like we talked about previously on that one.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at some runs from Devon Achane. I don't think I'm spelling his name right. There we go.
Got to get the apostrophe in there.
Got to get the apostrophe in there on third down, some third down runs, third down play calls to Devon Achane as well, and Jeff Wilson as well. All right, here we go. This is actually a 3rd-and-1 run to Jeff Wilson as the fullback.
Yeah, I thought this was not a great play call. I mean, Jeff Wilson has not lined up as the fullback the entire season. And we've run dives quite a bit, whether it's Ingold or other running backs that have been in that position. So, when you suddenly see Jeff Wilson lined up at fullback, it's kind of obvious what's happening here. I did think that even though the play call was very obvious, I didn't feel like being the guy that's supposed to be our power type back, I didn't really feel like there was enough of a tackle that he should have gone down short of the first down on that one. But I don't know whether McDaniel's gone completely opposite. Before it seemed like he was trying to outsmart everybody with those third down plays, and now they just seem determined to run those dives and make it as obvious as they can. I don't know if it's just a big, middle finger to everybody that says he tries to get too creative with it, that he's trying to go too basic now, but got to find a happy medium.
Got to find a happy medium. Got to find a happy balance as well. All right, this is a 3rd-and-1. Devon Achane actually successfully completes this for a first down gain. It was a 2-yard gain right here. Very condensed formation right here. Gets outside, bounces outside, and grabs 2 yards, converts the 3rd down. We'll go ahead, take a look at the end zone view right here. Go ahead and pause it with Tim Boyle inside. Pretty much empty set. You have Eric Ezukama, Jonnu Smith right off the offensive line in a condensed split formation. Jonnu as the motion man. He comes up straight through the B, more so the C gap, I believe, to go ahead and take on that blocker and give Achane some running room right there. Thoughts on this play call?
I mean, this is what we want them to do, running inside, and the blocks aren't great here. This is a duo type scheme, and you can see that Eichenberg, kind of misses the block there. But one of the things that makes Achane so good as a short yardage runner when they're able to spread the defense out a little bit is that he has such good vision and is, lightning quick with his moves.
Right there.
There he's pressing it, and before he makes that cut, he already knows where that second cut is going to be, right? He's getting that horizontal cut, and before he's landed, he already knows he's putting his foot in the ground and where he's getting upfield. So those qualities make him a pretty good short yardage runner, despite the lack of size.
All right, let's go ahead and get into some Tyler Snoop Huntley film right here. See what he can actually bring over to the table. Right now, I filtered out the plays on 3rd down, passing the ball while trailing. The Dolphins have not been a good team trailing and especially passing the ball this season. So this is something that the Dolphins will need to look at, what Mike McDaniel may need to cook up for Tyler Huntley right here. Obviously a different type of scheme, different type of offense, but can Mike McDaniel borrow some of these concepts and actually make this an offense fit for Tyler Huntley? Not for Tua, not for Skylar, but for Tyler Huntley, who is a different type of quarterback for Tua Tagovailoa. All right. This is a 3rd and 13 in the second quarter where they are down by 3 right here. Let me go over to the sideline view right here. And it's an 11-yard pass to Devin Duvernay. You're in 11 personnel right there. It looks like the defense is they're in a split safety look. So they're either in 2, 4, or 6 coverage, or they could be running with quarters. Lots of vertical routes right here. Blocking is pretty much holding up at this point. He lets it fly. Basically on a comeback route to Devin Duvernay. Thoughts on this, Eric? Is this something the Dolphins' offensive line can actually hold up and give Tyler Huntley some time?
I think so. And I think that you're going to see a different style of pass rush. And this is something I've talked about before with the difference between pass rushers that are going after Tua versus a pass rusher that is going after a Lamar Jackson type, which is, obviously closer to what Tyler Huntley is. Once he shows that threat of being able to make them pay for, not maintaining their gap integrity with their pass rushes, I think we're going to see life a little easier on the offensive line in the sense that defensive lines are going to switch to more of a contain rush, and teams are going to, want to make Tyler Huntley beat them with his arm. So a play like this is mostly a one read tight play, and I think that's absolutely something that McDaniel should be looking at with Huntley in the lineup.
All right. Here's one where gap integrity is at its core, specifically in the red zone. They're in the goal line. It's a 3rd and 9 situation right here where they really need to get 9 yards in the goal line. You have Kenyon Drake, Tyler Huntley, and you're basically in 21 personnel as well. You have 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back. At the point of attack, you have Andrews here on a crossing route, which, if this is a one-read type of thing, Huntley could give this to a guy like Jonnu, or maybe a guy like Devon Achane who's running this crossing route, or a Tyreek Hill. Just give it over to them and gain some yards. But he doesn't give it over to them and instead runs with the ball. In your opinion, what do you think Huntley is looking at? Do you think he's going for the shot, for the touchdown?
I was going for the touchdown, or just that Andrews did not get far enough for him to be confident in throwing that without. There was a defender there that was kind of picked as Andrews is coming across the formation there, that outside linebacker. So
Right
I don't
there.
know whether he was worried about that player jumping the route and didn't get a chance to see it develop the whole way. But this is the reason that I wanted a guy like Tyler Huntley in the lineup, because we're not going to be able to run the Tua type offense. And with somebody like Huntley in the lineup, then when that first or maybe second read is not there that he wants, there's still another element that, his natural instincts can take over, and we're not just taking a sack on the play.
All right. 3rd and 5 up against the Cleveland Browns nearby midfield. I believe this play was an incompletion deep right to Deshaun Jackson. The back end 11 personnel, 3rd and 5, obvious passing situation. You have the linebacker dropping in coverage. Protection has held up so far. He's got a clean pocket. Tries to throw it deep, just not there. It's right out of bounds. Now, if this is Tyreek Hill out here on the perimeter, he's getting his hands on him. He's got to go right around. And this is a throw we've seen Tua make over and over again, albeit this season he hasn't made this type of throw to Tyreek Hill. And judging by this play, if Tyler Huntley can't get this throw down the field, there's not much of a shot for Tyler Huntley to actually get something going in the deep passing game. And Tyreek Hill in the deep passing game right here. Eric, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that anticipation and accuracy are, the biggest strengths of Huntley's game. So on a play like that, if you're throwing to a Tyreek, then that's one of those that you almost have to throw before he's open. You're not going to have the benefit with the Dolphins' skill positions of being able to just throw it up on a 50-50 ball that you might with some of the other receivers. I know that I know we're going to talk about Malik Willis later, but I was watching some of that game and kind of had the same deal there where it was one read type stuff that he was just throwing it up to, I think it was Christian Watson. But I'm not sure that those cover two, hit it in the hole type passes are going to be what we're going to see with Huntley, because I'm not sure that he's mature enough of a quarterback to anticipate that and hit that where it needs to be.
Yeah, pretty much this offense is about anticipation, and they're going to have to dumb down the playbook up against this Tennessee defensive front, who's going to be missing Jeffrey Simmons on the defensive line. So potentially that's more room for the offensive line to get some more time for Tyler Huntley to throw the ball. All right, this is a 3rd and 8 on the high red zone right here. You're back in 11 personnel, and Tyler Huntley actually scrambles for a first down right here. You're taking a look at this Jim Schwartz Cleveland Browns style of defense. Pretty much a delayed rush on the interior, and he just scrambles out just to gain some yardage. Like, this is something that's actively missing from Mike McDaniel's offense, where you actually have a mobile quarterback that can get creative, that can beat you with their legs, and is going to keep the defense honest. And as you said, you're going to have to keep that contain rush. And if the gap integrity is not there, your quarterback can run for 4, 5, 6 yards and go ahead and keep the chains moving. That's what the Dolphins need specifically on 3rd and short and 3rd and medium, to keep the chains going. Because outside of Tua, you can't. And even with Tua, when you're doing those short passes or trying to run the ball, it has not been successful, and the Dolphins have been middle of the pack in 3rd down conversions since last season.
Yeah, this type of play, when we talk about Tua and we talk about the hot reads and, where he's able to throw the ball right away in, 1.2 seconds, whatever it is.
Right. You can throw this slant right here if that was Tua.
Right. But this is a similar hot read to a player like Huntley, where if you're watching that defensive end that's going against that right tackle, especially going to the right side, his throwing side arm, as soon as that defensive end steps inside, it doesn't matter. Like,
it's Myles Garrett right there, one of the best pass rushers in the game.
Yeah, they're going to have somebody looping outside of that, but the chances of the person that they're having loop it outside of that being able to contain Huntley is pretty slim. So anytime that he sees a defensive end take an inside path like that, we should see Huntley trying to get out of the pocket, trying to make something happen with his legs, because they're basically giving him an entire half of the field to move and to, create a threat. And obviously, either they're going to have to let him run for 5 or 10 yards and scamper out of bounds, or they're going to have somebody coming off their coverage, and that's where we could potentially see a game-changing type play where he's able to hit Tyreek getting lost in coverage because they have to come up and respect his mobility.
All right, the last play for Tyler Huntley, 3rd and 10. Once again, they're in the high red zone. They are trailing by 3 right here. You're back in 11 personnel, and this throw was actually picked off by Denzel Ward. And we'll go ahead and take a look what actually went wrong on this play. All right, you have 4 men rushing, 5 men blocking. You have a slant route coming in right here, which Huntley could potentially throw. Duvernay looks like he may be setting up for the pick or setting out for an outside release on a wheel route. Yep. And gets picked right off by Denzel Ward. I mean, that was the read that I would do, which I would assume would be the first read, and I think that's what Denzel Ward read as well. A pretty good job by Denzel Ward right there, not getting beat by the pick play that was happening between Duvernay and Deshaun. That's not Deshaun Jackson, is it? Number 15 is Nelson Aguilar. Nope, that is Deshaun Jackson, actually. Take a look at that. But if the Dolphins are going to stick with the one read thing for Tyler Huntley, they need to be careful. And Mike McDaniel needs to be careful to not make it super, super basic where opposing defenders can sniff out the play like that. And the Titans don't necessarily have a Denzel Ward or a Xavier Howard or a Jalen Ramsey type of player on the defense. But, building contingency plans where Tyler Huntley is not putting the ball for the defenders to be there for play.
I feel like on that play that that was, we talked about the anticipation. I feel like that was one of those throws that has to be thrown really before the wide receiver's making the break. And on that one, like Huntley was looking somewhere else first. By the time he comes back to that, an NFL defense is going to read that and is going to jump that route. I think that those pick plays are something that Miami has not utilized as much as I would have liked them to see them doing it. Maybe with Huntley getting in there and hopefully going to more one read type plays, we'll see more of that. But he has to be able to throw those before the receiver's making the break so that the ball can get there before the defense has an opportunity to break on the ball.
Yep. I love that analysis, Eric. Now we'll go ahead and get into the Titans defense preview, and we can take a look potentially what this offense could look like with Tyler Huntley at the helm. You can take a look at how Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers operated on third downs, and they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 passing plays on third down. That is a lot of passing plays on third down, Eric. And, the Green Bay Packers pretty much handled the Tennessee Titans, but there were a lot of bumps and bruises for Malik Wilson and this Packers offense facing this Titans defensive front. All right, go ahead on the first play. I believe this was the 30-yard throw to Christian Watson. It looks like Malik Wilson is canning the play right here. Not sure what this play could be. It could have been a run first or a different type of passing play on third down. They look like they're in 11 personnel right here. You have 3 wide receivers on the field. Tight end Luke Musgrave and running back Josh Jacobs. Just past the middle of the field, down in distance is 3rd and 6. All right, go ahead and run the play. Musgrave is basically acting as a chip blocker, good enough protection. Right there to Christian Watson.
Yeah, so this is actually the play that I referenced earlier. That I don't think that Miami really has this in there, that they will have this in their playbook. Because, if this is Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill, it's just not a high percentage play. And we've seen them try to throw the fade ball to Tyreek Hill here. But I do feel that this was a play that was basically a one read type thing. Malik Willis is catching the ball. He's looking at the left. But I think that looking at the left was just to try to hold that safety long enough that you come back and throw that up to Watson there.
Yep. And take a look at the coverage as well. Everything is pretty much tight except for this tight end to Luke Musgrave right here. And this is literally Christian Watson battling for the ball. So that's not something Miami could be looking at. All right, 3rd and 2. Malik Wilson actually scrambles here, and we could see the same type of thing from Tyler Huntley to keep the chains moving right here. They are very short of midfield, 3rd and 2. The Dolphins have not had a lot of success on 3rd and short passing the ball. So we'll go ahead and take a look right here. They are in 11 personnel, once again, with 3 wide receivers. Josh Jacobs is their running back, but they have a different tight end in Tucker Kraft. All right. You basically have a slide protection over to the right from the offensive line. You have a big gap right here where Malik Willis could run. Nobody's open just yet, but let's go ahead and see how this play develops in terms of routes. Okay, you can throw a ball right there. However, this defender could potentially jump it. You could throw this out route, but this defender could read it and try to make a play on the ball. Christian Watson is right here. He could be running an in-breaking route. He is running an in-breaking route right there. Malik Wilson, he basically hitches. He hasn't released the ball just yet. He's like, okay, now what do I do? He's covered up. He's covered up. This is going to be too tight of a throw where I need to readjust my base, but I have a defender coming in. So what does he do? Goes right around, tucks it, and runs.
Yep, and that's what I hope we get out of Huntley as well. I mean, that was essentially a one-read play. It was blocked up pretty well. And, we came back. There was that opportunity over the middle of the field. But, as a young quarterback like Willis is, like Huntley still is, if you're not confident enough to rip that down the middle of the field, then I would absolutely prefer that you use your legs in a situation like this. He can see on those initial reads how much of that pressure is going to the right side. So he should kind of have a feeling that there's not a whole lot of, players left for the left side. And that's essentially what he does there, is that when he comes to the left and there's only that one defender there, he kind of steps up to manipulate that defender inside and then just bounces outside. And that's what we need to be able to do to just be able to keep the chains moving and keep the offense on the field to, be able to put points on the board.
Yep. All right. They are in the low red zone right here. The defensive line and offensive line is pretty packed up. They have big Tavondre Sweat, rookie out of Texas, Jeffrey Simmons, who looks to be out in this Dolphins game, Arden Key, Harold Landry, Ernest Jones, and Kenneth Murray Jr., fast-flowing linebackers in the linebacker core. The Titans do have L'Jarius Sneed on there, who did give problems to Tyreek Hill in both Kansas City games for the Dolphins as well. We'll go ahead and take a look at the play in the low red zone. You basically have trips over to the left, cans the play. What is Malik Willis seeing right here for him to can the play, Eric? What do you think?
So this is the same kind of stuff that Miami does. They started the running back out there on the top of the screen as a wide receiver.
Calling the Hall motion, correct?
Yeah, I think it was Hall when it was out. I forget what it was when it comes back in. But yeah, bringing that running back in. The linebacker lines up out with him wide and then comes in with him. This is a pretty good indicator of man coverage, and that's probably why he's canning the play and moving to something else.
All right, play action fake. Gives it on a bubble. Let's take a look at the throw one more time. Bubble is the correct read right there. It's an easy play. Doesn't happen. But then he absolutely gets suplexed by L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah, so when you have, man coverage like that, you're just hoping that the traffic from those two outside blockers is enough to take care of that inside blocker. And you said that's Sneed that made the play there. And, he does a good job of reacting and getting to that. If that ball is thrown in a way that lets the receiver continue to run to the outside, then he probably walks in with that.
All right. The Packers are on midfield, 3rd and 13. Similar situation where Miami has been before these last 3 weeks. We'll take a look at the play call. Again, the Packers are in 11 personnel. Now, do you think the Dolphins are going to be in more of an 11 personnel look, or do you think they're going to be condensed and continue their 21 and 22 personnel package?
I mean, if I have no idea what Mike McDaniel is going to do. Like I said, I don't think this is going to be the same offense that we've seen with Tua. It really shouldn't be. If I was doing it, then I would spread it out more. I would try to create more lanes for Tyler Huntley. Now that also comes down to who's available. If we get Malik Washington back this week, maybe that's another receiver that can be used out there. We really haven't had great production throwing to the tight ends. I saw something before we got on here that it's been since 2022 to Mike Gesicki that we've thrown a touchdown to a tight end. So at this point, I would say that I'd like to see less tight ends on the field, but I also don't know how many competent wide receivers we have available either.
Especially for blocking as well on those perimeter and outside runs. Go ahead and run the play. 11 personnel again. Tight end is motioning across the field. All right. Let's take a look at short throw by Malik Willis right here on third down, just trying to get the chains moving, setting himself up for a nice field goal. He could have waited a little bit and maybe potentially gave that crossing route over to Romeo Doubs. Gained some good yardage there. And if Mike McDaniel was going to be settling for field goals and giving it to Jason Sanders, might be a bit of a risk right there to try and take the points, especially with Jason Sanders a little bit earlier on the game. But who knows, maybe if the game is on the line, Jason Sanders actually nails this one and gives the Dolphins another win if this were to happen, actually.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind this play at all. I mean, this is a pretty easy read off the snap that Willis can see that everybody that is lined up to that bottom side of the screen is coming. Yeah. So it's an easy completion. But when
it's a numbers game, basically.
Right. And when you think about the Dolphins doing this, if this is Tyler Huntley just dumping it off to Devon Achane, there's always a potential for a big play there. So I would have no issues with having this type of outlet pattern as part of the scheme, just to give Huntley an easy read that gets the ball out of his hands and gets it to guys like Achane in space.
And now let's take a look at the coverage right here, because I'm seeing this crossing route ran by Romeo Doubs. Is this linebacker right here, is he actually passing it off in zone coverage, or is he playing man on this running back? Because it looks like to me, based on this defensive back right here, he's running with Doubs. He's not passing this off. This is man coverage overall. So if you're seeing man coverage, Tyler Huntley, and this is Tyreek Hill, you give this to Tyreek Hill on the crossing route. Just wait a little bit, man. Just wait a little bit and just dump it off to Tyreek Hill.
Absolutely.
All right, Eric, now that we've seen some stuff of what Tyler Huntley potentially could be seeing from the Titans defense and what this offense could be, what's your outlook for this offense?
I mean, they have to be consistent. We have to be able to move the chains. The big plays are going to come eventually, right? Whether it's Devon Achane ripping off a big run, whether it's Tyler Huntley able to, evade a rush and hit Jalen Wall or Tyreek Hill deep, those plays will come eventually. But if it's constant 3 and outs, and you never set yourself up for that. It's when you get into the second and third and shorts that create those opportunities where defenses have to be a little more aggressive and open up things deeper. So I expect a much more simple offense. I'm hoping to see a little bit of the zone read where Huntley has the option to keep the ball as well, just to keep the defensive ends honest. Don't want to see him running a whole lot and taking a bunch of hits, but I do want to see him running, getting the easy yards, getting down, and trying to keep the chains moving.
And you forget that Mike McDaniel has a little bit of a history with the zone read type of quarterback. Back in his Washington days with RG3, he was an offensive assistant. He worked with Shanahan, McVay, and LaFleur. He was also the wide receiver coach in 2013 and 2014 until RG3 basically left. Hey, maybe McDaniel goes to a very, very old offensive playbook where he takes a page out of the RG3-led Washington football team.
Yeah, hopefully.
It very well could be. All right, Eric, thank you so much for assisting with this analysis and breaking down. And hopefully the Miami Dolphins get their second win up against the Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football, 7:15 p.m. Stick with us here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, where we will get you ready pregame, and we will have instant reactions and analysis postgame after Monday Night Football. As always, folks, go Fins.